Hey guys, welcome to the video, another episode of Hacking Modding News and Info. First, let me start off by apologizing for not having this out yesterday. I know the day before I said it was going to come out yesterday, and then, life decided to be life as usual. Some unexpected things happened. I got tied up with work stuff and I could not get to the video. I did skip last week. Remember, I've been telling you guys during the holiday season, these weekly segments are going to get a lot harder. I may have to skip some. I may have to put them out instead of Mondays, maybe during the week like I am now, the middle of the week, towards the end of the week, whatever. So a lot has happened over the last couple of weeks. We need to cover quite a bit. This is going to be broken down into 3 parts. So this episode, part 1 of it is now. We'll be covering the Sony Systems. Part 2 will be Nintendo Systems, and part 3 will be everything else, emulation, miscellaneous mentions, and anything new that pops up between now and then. For those who are new to these weekly segments, check down in the description for a brief summary on what they are all about. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this week's episode, part 1, focusing on Sony Systems. And beginning with the new Xbox consoles, there's a way for you to run Retroarch on them, but this comes with a couple of side notes. Number 1 is that your either Series S or X needs to be in dev mode. Now, this is not some type of secret. As a matter of fact, Microsoft made it so that pretty much all Xbox Series S's and X's can be turned into like a dev kit. In order to do this, you do need to pay Microsoft a one-time fee of $19, and then you'll be able to install things like Retroarch, maybe some other homebrews that come out down the line, and there's other things you can do with your Xbox S or X, but that's mainly for developers, of course. There's a site here that kind of explains everything. I'll link it down in the description, and they walk you through the process of what you need to do to put your system into dev mode and installing Retroarch and all that stuff. So if you're interested and you want to pay that one-time fee of $19 and you happen to have a Series S or X, you too can run Retroarch on your system. And now even PS2 games can run on there because the PCSX2 emulator is on there. Now, this is normally used with PCs, but they've kind of ported it over to Retroarch, and while it is a work in progress, reports have come in that many of the games actually run very well on the new Xbox system. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, make sure you check out all the information, and then you can get Retroarch up and running on your new shiny Xbox console. Alright, so now we head on over to the PS5 scene. Couple of bits of news we need to cover here. The first is something that you may have already heard because it's been out for a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of gloss over it. If you want more details and specifics on how all of this was done, I'll put a couple of links in the description so you can check those out for more information. Anyway, some PS5 users have already gotten their systems permanently banned. So when you get a new PS5, if you have PlayStation Plus, one of the perks is that you get a bundle of 20 PS4 games. And some of these games are really good. Actually, a lot of them are top tier type games. Anyway, these users, what they did was they exploited a loophole they found that allowed them to sell and unlock these games for PS4 owners. Since they're PS4 games, you can use them on your PS4 systems. So Sony, of course, got wind of this, and what they did was they went ahead and permanently banned the PS5 consoles of the individuals doing this. The people who had the PS4 consoles that were benefiting from this loophole, or so they thought, their systems got banned for only 2 months. So these PS5 owners thought that they were slick, trying to take advantage of a little loophole. It ended up blowing up right in their face, and now they're stuck with a brand new PS5 that can never go online again. Next, we have PS5 firmware checker. This is something that's relatively new. It's a small little piece of software for use only with PCs, at least for right now. Anyone can use this. When you install it, you can check to see what the latest firmware update is for PS5, and then you can even download it. In addition to that, you can get some bits of information such as the build date, the checksum, the size of the update file, and little things like that. Now, while anyone can use this, I suspect that this is more of a benefit to hackers and developers who can use these conveniences of this software to their advantage. And normally with PlayStations, whenever a particular firmware does become exploitable, it's very easy for the end user to find that firmware in various places and just download it and install it, so you don't have to worry about stockpiling all of these updates. But it's good to see tools like this coming out early when a new console comes out, just to make the life of hackers a little bit easier. And now we head on over to the PS Vita scene. Couple things to cover. First, an update to Modoru, which is a PS Vita downgrader. Now, before you get too excited, your PS Vita must already be jailbroken. You just can't downgrade any PS Vita. You must be running Hencore, and it needs to be on firmware that is somewhere between 360 and 3.73. This latest update is beta. You can check out the changelog, but I can't stress enough the warning here that states that this is a beta release. If you don't know what you are doing, continue to use the older 2.1 version. The 2.1 version does support firmware up to 3.73, which as of the making of this video is still current, and the same guidelines apply. So you should be fine with that until these latest updates to this latest 2.2 gets finalized and it comes out of beta. And next, checking out this Vita database, which is somewhere that we visited multiple times. We'll see here that since our last visit, there's a few things that have been updated. As a matter of fact, I believe I left off here. So pretty much everything from GTA 3 for the Vita all the way up to Vita Wolfen, or whatever is the new one when you check it out. All of this is what has been updated in the past couple of weeks or so, including Xplorer launcher, which is absolutely my favorite game and homebrew launcher for the Vita. It just looks so slick. And then you have the regular Vita launcher that's been updated. A few games here like Vita Wolfen, Vita Quake, Lost on Island, and a couple of other games have been updated as well, including that GTA 3. So if you have a modded little Vita system, make sure you come to this database and check everything out. Now we'll make a quick pit stop over at the PS4 scene. The only thing for us to cover here is an update to PS4 Xplorer, now on version 1.26. This is a file manager for your PS4. This installs as a package file, so it's right on your home screen. Once you have HEN enabled, then you could go ahead and use it, and it has pretty much all the basic features that you would expect a file manager to have for your modded system. There's a direct download link here, which is over at the post of Logic Sunrise, but I'll also provide it for you down in the description. And we're going to wrap up this video by checking out what's been going down over at the PS3 scene. And there's really only a couple of things to cover. First, an update to FB Neo RL Plus, which is now on version 2.12. This is kind of an all-in-one emulator type package deal that plays ROMs from various old school systems from like the 80s and 90s, and it's fantastic. I've been using it for a while, and of course I used its predecessor FB Alpha RL for years, and it was great too. But this one is even better because this new developer here has taken it to the next level and has evolved that FB Alpha RL into this FB Neo RL, and it's just great. If you're interested, when you come here to PSX Plays, click on the supported systems tab and you can see all of the systems and consoles that this covers, and it's a pretty impressive list, from Konami to the various Capcom CPSs to Neo Geo, which is the main reason why I used this before and still use it now, and it's even better because now it plays Neo Geo CD games. But you have PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16, Super Graphics. With the additional expansion packages, you can play SNES ROMs, Mega Drive, Genesis ROMs, Sega CD, Amiga, and the list here just goes on and on. Anyway, the main download is here, and then the additional expansion packages are right below. Even if you use Retroarch, this is a nice companion to that. Or maybe you find Retroarch a little bit overbearing, overwhelming, maybe even complicated. This doesn't have all the glitz and glamour Retroarch does, but it is simple. It gives you some nice information and it just works. So if you're a fan of any of those consoles that you saw in that list or any of those systems and you want to give this a shot, I don't think you can possibly go wrong with FB Neo RL+. And the last little nugget of information we'll be covering here today is an update to Webman Mod. Those of you that have a modded PS3, whether it's on hand or custom firmware, you are already well familiar with what Webman Mod is. It's been around pretty much since the beginning of time itself. This latest update is version 1.47.31, and you can see the changes that have occurred in this update. For a while there, they were updating Webman Mod, but they weren't numbering it, and also you didn't know what was going on with a particular update because it wasn't being posted. So I'm glad they went back to normal on both of those things. For those of you that have a modded system, whether it's hen or custom firmware, the file you will need is the Webman Mod 14731 installer package file. And that is going to do it for this video, guys. Don't forget to stay tuned in to part 2 tomorrow, where we're going to cover the Nintendo systems. At least that's the plan. If you found anything here informative, useful, helpful, maybe entertaining, or you just want to throw some love or appreciation towards the channel, the best way to do all of that stuff, of course, is just to hit that like button and maybe subscribe if you haven't. And I do occasionally put out those little YouTube post deals. So if there's some important news regarding Switch, PS4, PS5, or whatever, and I don't have time to make a video, or maybe it's something I'm not going to make a video about, but it's important enough for you guys to know about it, I'll use that little YouTube post, and by having that notification bell on, you guys will know when I make those posts, and then you can see what that info is all about. Anyway, thanks guys. You know I appreciate you. Much love. Be careful, be safe, but as always, have fun, and we will see you on the next one.